In 2001, I was living in Australia. I had recently been married at a very young age, and I had been away from home for maybe a year and a half when September 11th came around, and it was September 12th there, and we were sleeping, and my then sister-in-law, who was 11 years old, started pounding on our front door, and I was like barely awake, and my husband answered the door, and she's like, America's being bombed, America's being bombed, and I almost had a heart attack. And we got up, and it was on the news, and I think I didn't move from the couch for about 3 days. And I was very grateful that Australian news actually, showed it and kept, I want to say they had MSNBC on at the time, and they would do their regular Australian news broadcast, but it would be all about the coverage. Yeah, I was very, if I wasn't homesick already, I was even more homesick. It was really difficult not being in the country when it occurred. I felt really disconnected from everything that was going on, and it made me feel more isolated when I was over there. My uncle at the time worked a block away, and he happened to be running late for work, which is weird because you hear a lot of stories like that. And he ended up like turning around when he heard it on the radio and going back to his apartment, and he could see everything going on from his apartment window. So I ended up calling him later. So thankfully he didn't make it to work, I guess. I don't think he didn't work in one of the buildings, but he would have been a lot closer, and I would have freaked out even more. But yeah, I didn't go to work for the rest of the week. I stayed on the couch, and I talked to my mom a lot on the phone. I want to say I was just 21 at the time, so it was really difficult, and it really propelled my decision to leave Australia and drag my then husband back to the States. And yeah, it also made me put up an American flag in my bedroom in Australia, which is something I never would have done previously, and I'm not sure I would do now. But it's really strange how it was the biggest event in my life so far, and everything else seemed like such past history. And as I'm a history major, so I think it might have even inspired me to decide that as a major, now that I know that I'm living history every day.